The last roar of the wounded king. Yumar Khan was a soft-hearted man who loved animals more than anything. Riding on his loyal horse Senorita, he often explored the silent trails of the deep forest. That day, the wind was cold and the sky was cloudy, as if nature itself was hiding a secret. While moving deeper into the woods, Yumar suddenly heard a strange sound, heavy, trembling, filled with unbearable pain. It wasn't a roar, it wasn't a scream. It was something in between, something that could shake the heart of any human. He stopped his horse. Senorita also raised her ears and looked toward the source of the sound. The cry echoed again, this time even more desperate. Yumar guided his horse toward the noise. As he pushed aside the tall bush, his eyes widened. Lying on the ground was a wounded lion, the king of the forest, shaking in pain. His back leg was badly injured, bleeding heavily, likely from a poacher's trap. Every few moments, the lion lifted his head and let out a weak roar, a roar filled not with power, but with agony. Most people would have run away, but Yumar didn't. He looked into the lion's eyes. Those golden eyes, once full of pride and dominance, now held fear and a faint hope, as if begging for survival. "It's okay. Don't be afraid," Yumar whispered, knowing well the lion couldn't understand his words, yet hoping he could feel the emotion. He dismounted slowly, keeping his movements calm. When Yumar stepped closer, the lion roared weakly in warning, but he did not attack. It was clear he had no strength left. Yumar knelt near him and studied the wound. It was deep, bleeding nonstop. If he didn't help Mal, the lion would die. He took a bottle of water from his bag and gently poured it over the wound. The lion winced and let out a painful cry, but didn't resist. Yumar tore a cloth and wrapped the wound tightly until the bleeding slowed. When he finished, the lion lifted his head slightly and looked at him, not as prey, not as an enemy, but as a lifeline. It was a moment Yumar would never forget. From that day onward, Yumar returned to the lion daily. He cleaned the wound. He brought food. He gave water. And he sat beside him so the lion wouldn't feel alone. Senorita, his loyal horse, also stood quietly nearby, as if guarding the forest king. Slowly, the lion began to recover. First he sat up, then he stood. Then he walked a few weak steps. Within days he regained his strength, and the fire in his eyes returned. He was once again the king he had always been. One morning, the lion walked toward Yumar. Yumar froze for a moment. But instead of attacking, the lion gently touched his head to Yumar's hand, like a silent thank you. Then, with one final look back, he disappeared into the depths of the jungle. But the forest never forgot. Even today, on quiet nights, people claim they can hear a distant roar. A roar not of fear, not of hunting, but of gratitude, from a king who once found hope.